I lost my arm in the war. The alien woman gave me one made from her own flesh. The battlefield was a burning graveyard. Smoke curled like serpents in the desert heat, and the sand was stained with blood, red and blue alike. Vehicles burned in the distance. Screams had faded. Only silence remained. And pain. So much pain. I lay on the sand, my left side soaked and warm. My arm was gone, torn away by the blast that killed the rest of my unit. I remember the sound, a deafening crack, and then the emptiness, the weightlessness, my body refusing to feel whole. I thought it was the end. I closed my eyes, but then I felt something cold and soft. Fingers. When I opened my eyes, I saw her, a woman not human. Her skin a deep luminous blue. Her long silver braids framed a face, so still it seemed carved from stone. She knelt beside me in the wreckage, surrounded by fire and death, untouched by either. "Don't move," she said in perfect Terran. I blinked through blood and dust. "Am I dead?" "No," she said, her voice like glass, beautiful and sharp. "But you will be soon if I don't help." I faded in and out of consciousness. I remember her dragging me across the sand, shielding me from flames. Her hands never trembled. Not once. When we reached a shaded crevice behind a broken carrier, she laid me down and pressed something against my wound. It stung, then cooled. I woke again hours later, in a makeshift shelter of metal and blankets. My shoulder was wrapped, and she sat by my side, her eyes closed, chanting softly. "You saved me," I croaked. She opened her eyes. "I'm not supposed to save humans." "Why did you?" She didn't answer. Instead, she touched my brow. Her skin was cold, but not lifeless. It pulsed faintly, as though something inside her resonated with mine. "You're different," she said. "Maybe I'm just lucky." "No," she replied. "You screamed for your friends after the blast. You didn't think of yourself." Her name was Aller. She was a warrior from the Siriani, a people bred for perfection, genetically, biologically, even emotionally. They were our enemies, technically, or they had been. The war had fractured everything. Alliances, loyalties, borders. But Aller had been left behind in the chaos. Like me. "I should leave you," she said one night as I drifted in and out of fever. "But something won't let me." "Guilt," I teased. She tilted her head. "Something older, deeper. We call it Kielen, the binding of fates." Sounds poetic. It is, and terrible. The infection came 2 days later. My stump burned, black veins crawling across my skin. "You're dying," she said quietly. "Guess you should have let me go after all." But she shook her head. "There's one way to stop it, but it's forbidden." She raised her arm. The veins beneath her skin glowed faintly. Siriani confused tissue. We were designed to regenerate. We can give parts of ourselves. Permanently. But once given, it can never be taken back. It weakens us. Shortens our lives. I stared at her. "You do that for me?" "I already decided," she said, and took my trembling hand in hers. "You just have to accept it." The ritual was ancient, a sacred code buried in their flesh. She sliced her own arm carefully, whispering words I didn't understand, and guided her blood to mine. It shimmered like mercury, pulsing with life. The pain was unbearable. The sensation indescribable. My body screamed. And then silence. When I woke, my arm was whole again. But not mine. It was hers, blue sleek, strangely beautiful. My fingers glowed with a soft luminescence. I could feel her heartbeat through it. I could feel her. A part of her lived inside me now. We stayed together for weeks. There was no one else. Sometimes we scavenged. Sometimes we sat under the stars, neither speaking. but the silence between us changed, grew warmer. I caught her staring at me once when I was flexing the new arm. "What is it?" I asked. "You move like it's always been part of you," she said. "Maybe it has." She looked away quickly, but her voice wavered. "You're not just carrying my flesh. You're carrying my future." One night, as the wind howled outside the wreckage, she sat close beside me and whispered, "If we survive this and I'm called home, would you come with me?" "I'm just a soldier," I said, "not special." "You are now," she said. "You are part of me. In Siriani culture, that means more than you can imagine." "Like family?" She nodded. "Or more." I reached out with my new arm, her arm, and touched her cheek. It was the first time I saw her close her eyes in peace. But peace never lasts. Rescue came in the form of a scouting ship, a human one. I stood with Aller at the landing ramp as the ship descended. "If they take you," she said, "they'll treat me like an enemy. I won't let them. You may not have a choice." I turned to her, gripping her hand. "Then we run." But when the soldiers disembarked, they didn't raise their guns. Instead, they stared in stunned silence. "That's him," one whispered. "The one with the alien arm." They had heard the signal, an emergency beacon she'd secretly activated for my sake. They took us both aboard. Questions were asked. Rumors spread. A human fuse with Siriani? Unthinkable. Sacred? Blasphemous? We were separated, studied, interrogated. But in the end, it didn't matter, because the war was over, and the universe had changed. They call me the Bound One now. Some say I'm a symbol of peace. Others say I'm proof of forbidden magic. I don't care about titles. All I care about is this. I carry her within me, and I always will.